who's in Auburn, New York. Eddie, a band I think should have been huge. Killer Dwarfs, doesn't matter at all, should have been a big hit. Great vocals, great song, great guitar work. Why doesn't streaming services offer the album Method to the Madness, killer album? War Babies, another band that should have been huge. Chris, thank you for your thoughts about bands that should have been huge. If an album is not being offered on a streaming service at this point, there's probably two reasons for it. One would be that the label who owns the rights to the record feels that the audience interest is so limited that they don't even make it available on that platform. Maybe the album is out of print, but they retain the control of the master and they just haven't turned it over to streaming services because they just don't think there's enough interest based off of what it sold originally. Or the other scenario could be that the artist had in their contract or has in their contract some sort of provision where they don't want or they don't have the royalty structure to a point in a way that they want it to have it on the platform. Something tells me with the Killer Dwarfs, it's more of it just being a case of it being too off the radar and unfortunately just not popular enough for them to really have paid attention to it yet. An instance of the other scenario where a band blocks their music from streaming because they don't like the royalty rate nature of the deal they have with the record label would be Def Leppard, who up until a year ago or so blocked their music from streaming because they were unhappy with the royalty structure that they were being offered. Continuing in the mailbag, this comes from Jack, and he writes, Eddie, I remember an album put out in the early 90s by a band called Bad for Good that Steve Vai put together with a bunch of kids. It was Brooks Wackerman, who I believe went on to play with Five Finger Death Punch. No, he actually played in Avenged Sevenfold. Danny Cooksey on vocals, Thomas McRocklin on guitar, who was also in the Audience is Listening video, and a bassist I can't remember right now. Whatever happened to Cooksey and McRocklin? Danny had a great voice. I thought they were doing a second record under the name Lucy's Milk, but I don't ever remember it coming out. Do you have any info? Jack, I am sorry, I do not. But I'll tell you what, I know Steve Vai, a wonderful guy, and I'll be seeing Steve tomorrow, actually. Tomorrow night, when I host the Metal Awards show at NAMM, he's getting an award, and I'll try to remember and ask him about that band and whatever happened to them. Let's see here. This one comes from Ron. I'm not sure where Ron is from. Eddie, why are there commercial breaks on Volume? It's annoying when I'm paying for satellite radio service. Tell Volume to get it together. If your show wasn't so good, I'd quit listening. Ron. Thank you for listening. First of all, as far as commercial breaks, there are a total of 12 minutes of commercials in the hour, meaning 48 minutes of content. That's much less commercials than regular radio. Secondly, I don't own the company, Ron. I appreciate you listening, but it gives you a chance to go to the bathroom or go get a beer or go get a drink. Thirdly, the only promise on satellite radio for no commercials is on music channels. Volume is not a music channel. It's a talk entertainment channel. It is not unique. We are not the only channel at all that has commercials. Almost every talk channel has commercials, including Howard Stern, including Bennington, including countless other talk shows. We all have commercials on the talk side. The only guarantee of no commercials on satellite radio is the music channels, and that's the case. And here's the other thing, Ron, about commercial breaks on talk radio, which are very helpful to us, the hosts. It gives us a chance to stop talking for a second and get a drink of water or go to the bathroom, because if there weren't commercials, since we don't play music, if there weren't commercial breaks, we would be talking nonstop for anywhere from 2 to 4 hours without ever being able to get a breather or go